Hello, this is Jared Price. I'd like to welcome you to another Frontier Precision Tech Talk. In today's session, we're going to talk about Trimble Reveal, the basics, and importing point clouds. Okay, today we're going to kind of cover some of the basics of Trimble Reveal, at least getting both your capture file and your scan file into Reveal. So if you open up Reveal, you can see I'm in there now. The first thing we always want to do is bring in your capture file, which that's going to have all of your photos that we're eventually, well, the annotations that we're going to convert into evidence markers. So first thing we need to do is import data log. And when it says the source of the measurement, it's going to be a file and Trimble Forensics capture file. And we browse for our file. Let's see here. Let's pick this jail homicide. And we hit next. I'm just going to import. So this is not going to have any point cloud data in there. This is just kind of the root file. And then any annotations that we did with the X7 scanner, those are going to come in. Okay, so a lot of this is default. You can change around these layers. Yeah, we'll deal with that later. So the important thing is it recognizes that there's annotations, so it's going to put those on inside the annotations. Hit next. And be prepared to be underwhelmed because there's not really much there yet. So apparently we only had 2 annotations, a gun and some bullets. You can see over here on the right, not much going on yet. So we now need to bring in the point cloud data. And there's kind of been a standardization of E57 files. So this came directly, we created these point cloud files from RowWorks, and we can also export those directly from the Perspective software. So I'm going to browse. So here's my 3 E57 files. So the raw was, completely untouched, the full point cloud. And then we have our working area, and then we actually had a smaller, like an evidence layer as well. So I'm going to start with the raw untouched. So this is very important down here. So we want to make this E57 file relative to our annotation measurements. So if we start doing cloud coordinates or positioning at the origin of the scene, the point cloud file and your annotations are not going to line up. So measurements are going to be incorrect. They're going to be improperly georeferenced at that point. So we have to make these relative to our annotation measurements. I'm going to start our import. Decent sized file, that's why it's taken so long. Okay, so that was 34 million points. So there's our raw, and you can see our annotations were lined up properly because we made the point cloud file that we imported relative to those annotation measurements. So that now puts this point cloud on this default layer. If I wanted to actually create a point cloud layer, if I wanted to start cleaning things up inside Reveal, we could do that. We have to move that down to our point cloud, and then you can make that visible or non-visible. Okay, I'm going to import my other point clouds, do my working area, and again we need to make this relative to our annotation measurements. So by using this relative to annotation measurements every time, these point clouds are going to lay right on top of each other and georeferenced correctly. So again, since I didn't have this point cloud layer built before I started importing these files, they're all going to go in the default layer. It's pretty easy just to, so that was 13 million points. Oh, it does go automatically. Perfect. Oh, because I have that layer activated right now. So with this star highlighted here, any files that I import are going to go to this file. And now again we can turn off and turn on. You can see those overlay right on top of each other. And I'm going to use my evidence. Again, relative to annotation measurements. Start import. It's a relatively small file. So we can see we put just the evidence on its own object layer or point cloud layer. You don't necessarily have to do that, but you can see it can make things easier if you're dealing with a larger point cloud. It just reduces the overall, what we're looking at. If we were just, diagramming just the evidence, then we could just turn on that layer as visible. So I'm going to keep that on for right now. The next thing I always like to do is, so these right now are not official evidence markers. They're just annotations. So if you click on in the properties, you can convert this to an official evidence marker, or you can give it, if there was a marker tent number, say that was tent number 12, name of gun, and in here this is where you could attach multiple, if you had high resolution photos from a different camera, or even if you had videos, you can do as many attachments in here as you want. Do the same thing for this guy. I'm going to convert it to let's say that was tent number 14, bullet 1. Same thing with the attachments here. So now those are official evidence markers. And if you wanted to see a report, you could look at this evidence marker report, and you might have a more in-depth description in here. You might have multiple images or videos. Another thing I see a lot of people putting in their diagram would be a scale bar. So you can do the dimensions however you want. probably the most common would be like a 3 foot, like a meter type stick. Depending on how large the scene is or how big you want the scale, you can make the width of the scale various. And you essentially just go to where you want this in your scene. Of course, you don't want it right on your evidence. So I'm going to place that right there. So now I have a scale bar that's in there. So this is going to have true measurements. And if I wanted to actually, prove that theory, I can click this dimension tool, and I can actually go in and make this measurement. And this is going to click to the point cloud. So this is measuring from the point cloud. This is essentially checking the scale of our point cloud. We know this distance is 3 feet. So we're going to click on the end of this. Hard to see that. I can change the size. I can also change the color. Get something that sticks out a little bit more. Oh, I guess I didn't save that change. But that says 2.99. I know that the scale bar is 3 feet. So that's a good, kind of a check. And you can, again, change the size of the text, the color of the text, whatever you need to do. And then kind of the last thing that's very common, these view stations. So these are really nice to have. So wherever we have lots of evidence, right now we don't have any way to easily look at this evidence. So these view stations, we can place these wherever we want, and the offset is going to be essentially how high up we're looking from. It could be 5 feet, it could be 0 if you wanted to look from ground level. I'm just going to leave it at 3 feet. So now if I were to right click on this and go to view station here, so now we're looking directly from that view station. And you can see I can't see the mannequin head, so I might need to place another. I guess I can. So I can place these view stations wherever I want. And it's a kind of a great tool for navigating around inside your scene, and you can set these wherever you want to. Go back down to the top. So I can put another station over here, and then I can view from that station as well. So these view stations can be exported into essentially you can get a free viewer for Reveal, and things like measurements, scale bars, view stations, they can all be seen from kind of a free version of the Reveal viewer. So it's a great way to share information from your Reveal scene, and somebody does not need a license. They just need to actually download and install that free viewer, and then you can export these various things to this Reveal viewer. So that's a lot of the basics. Anything more than that, that's where we kind of get into our official training. So I'm going to save this as a Reveal scene file. Name, case number, looks like this was 7865. And you can put this wherever you're going to store this data. here. So I'm going to save that scene. And now I've saved my reveal scene. So that's kind of the basics of, at least getting you started with reveal, being able to, manipulate scans in RealWorks, create these object clouds, and then, what their kind of their final resting place, which is inside Reveal, which is the diagramming software. So that's about it. I am going to sign off. Thank you. This has been another Frontier Precision Tech Talk. We hope you enjoyed this video and join us again next time.